At my funeral, the only person who showed up was the guest of honor. And technically, I wasn't even supposed to be breathing. That's what I was thinking while I sat there in that ugly little viewing room that smelled like lemon cleaner and denial. You know those rooms. A cheap table with tiny folded sympathy cards nobody had signed. A drip coffee urn that had been going long enough to taste like roofing tar. That room. There was a framed headshot of me on an easel at the front of the room with one of Haley's favorite filters over it, so I looked warm, which mostly means soft and exhausted, like I was halfway done apologizing for being alive. My skin tone in that photo was not a color found in nature. The little printed program said, "In loving memory of Evan Pierce, beloved husband and father." That was generous. Nobody loving was in the building. No wife, no kids, no friends from work pretending they cared. Just me, wearing a borrowed black suit with someone else's deodorant ghosted into the armpits, looking at a picture of myself like I was a piece of property that used to function and now belonged in storage. 4 hours. That's all it took to erase me. "I need you to calm down," Carl had said earlier. Carl is the funeral director. He's got the kind of body that looks like it was left overnight in a car, pale and damp, single dad ring under both eyes. I scared 5 years off his life when I sat up in his prep room with a toe tag round my ankle and a hospital bracelet digging into my wrist. "You can't be here," he told me, quiet and panicked. "Sir, you can't be here. This is a controlled facility. I could lose my license. Sir, please sit down before you fall. You were pronounced, I have paperwork. Your wife signed for direct cremation. I already arranged the slot and—" "Back up," I said. My voice sounded like gravel in a blender. "My wife did what?" "Sir, she signed," he said, almost whispering, like Haley could hear him through the drywall. "She said you wanted no extended services, strictly direct cremation as soon as possible. She said it was your wish to have it done today. I just follow requests. I don't get involved in family matters." My wish, isn't that sweet? I hadn't signed a damn thing, unless you count collapsing in our kitchen face first and waking up on a metal table under a sheet with a toe tag like a deli sticker. If you count collapsed in front of my refrigerator, then yes, sure, maybe I signed. I'll admit this much. I did go down. Heart episode, they said. They said I didn't have a pulse when the EMTs checked. They said the monitors read flat. I remember cold air, shouting, Haley yelling at someone on speaker. He said no heroic measures. He said don't bankrupt us for this. Let me pause on that. That part is important. That wasn't true. We never had that conversation. The conversation we did have 3 months ago was me saying, "Hey, we should probably update the will now that Mason's 17, because if I get hit by a bus, I don't want probate to be a circus." That's the version I recall. Her version, apparently, was closer to turn him into smoke and do it before lunch. Carl kept glancing at the hallway, like lawyers might ooze under the door if we said the wrong words. He handed me a clipboard. His hand was shaking. He was smart enough to know this was not a situation where you play hero. If a man wakes up on your table and he's supposed to be in line for the oven, you either go along with him or you go into bankruptcy court. "She signed all the authorizations already," he said. "Hospital released the remains." "The remains," I said. He swallowed. The body, you were released at 6:17 this morning. Your wife said, 'Please, we can't drag this out.' Her words. She wanted, and I'm just telling you what she said, sir. Don't get mad at me for repeating. She said, 'I need proof.'" Proof? Proof of what? Why did anyone need proof fast enough to skip a viewing, skip calling my sister, skip even telling the kids to put on black shirts and pretend to mourn? Haley always cared about optics like a pastor's wife cares about Bible covers. She worried about how it will look. She worried so hard about how it will look that she actually says that phrase out loud, like it's a commandment, like it's engraved in stone under our Wi-Fi password. But even for her, Asking for rush cremation for proof before dawn hits different. I looked around the empty viewing room. Where is my family? Carl opened and closed his mouth. He had the look of someone who doesn't want to be in a divorce hearing without his lawyer. Your wife said they weren't up to a service. She said she was too emotionally raw to sit through it, and she didn't want to force the children, he said. The children, I said. Mason and Olivia, he said like I had forgotten their names. Mason is 17. Liv is 14. I have changed their diapers, driven them to practice, sat through middle school orchestra concerts that could qualify as a war crime under certain treaties. I am aware of their names. He kept talking, fast, afraid. She said both kids were having a very hard time, and she didn't want to traumatize them more with the sight of the, She said they said their goodbyes privately. She said the kids were with friends today. She said she didn't want to pressure them. She said you wouldn't want to make them. Stop, I said. He stopped. Here's where something in me changed for good. It wasn't hearing that my kids weren't here. I could almost understand that. Teenagers tap out emotionally sometimes. They're not built yet. They leak. They shut down. It wasn't even the part where she tried to get me burned before lunch on a weekday. It was the way she had pre-written the narrative. He said no heroic measures. He didn't want a service. The kids already said goodbye. All these declarations on my behalf, when I hadn't had the luxury of waking up to cast a vote. She had done it like she was placing an Instacart order. No hesitation, no, what do you think is right? No conference call with my sister Dana. No letting Mason have a say. Nothing. Just remove, process, proof. That's when something in me went from hurt to surgical. Because there is grief. And then there is logistics. And then there is weaponizing logistics. Carl licked his lips. Please don't sue me, he said, barely audible. I'm not going to sue you, I said. That was true. Carl was a symptom. Haley was the disease. Carl was a guy who runs a low-budget funeral home at the edge of a strip mall, between the tax prep office and the vape shop. He looked like a guy who buys generic cereal to save $1. He didn't mastermind anything. He just stamped what he was given. Haley did the rest. You're going to give me copies of everything she signed, I said. All of it. The cremation authorization, the hospital release, the no heroic measures note she claims I said, all of it. You don't edit, you don't redact. He hesitated. I stood up. He didn't hesitate after that. Carl swallowed. Sir, I could... Give it to me, Carl, I said. Or tomorrow morning the state board is going to hear a very exciting story about how you almost burned a living person for convenience. I assume your license matters to you. He stared at me for a long breath, and then he moved like a man quietly choosing continued employment. He printed, copied, stapled, slid. The papers made a neat stack in my hands, warm from the printer. Cardiac arrest. Such a polite phrase for, my wife said she's done with me. I slid the papers into a manila envelope. I tucked the envelope under my arm. 4 hours earlier, I had been zipped in plastic and tagged like something you could buy by the pound. 4 hours, and I was already an inconvenience to her schedule. That was the moment I stopped being married. That was the moment I stopped being nice. While you're here, hit the hype button, don't forget to subscribe, and support this channel with a like. And tell us below, have you ever faced something like this? My sister almost knocked me out with the door. Dana lives in a duplex that smells like burnt coffee and cheap lavender candles and laundry that never fully dries in the winter. She's 38, bartender voice, bar manager spine. Grew up same house as me, same father, same training in how to survive when people lie to your face and smile while they're doing it. Different last name now, because she had the good sense not to keep anything a man gave her unless she really wanted it. She opened the door and said my name like a prayer with sharp edges. Then she slapped me across the chest. Then she hugged me so hard I saw static. You're cold, she said into my suit. I was refrigerated, I said. She pulled back and looked me over like she was trying to prove to herself I wasn't a ghost with a paperwork problem. I saw it, she said. Haley texted me like 8 in the morning. Evan passed in his sleep. It was peaceful. I'm completely shattered. Can you help me tell the kids gently? I almost threw my phone. Then she went dark. I tried to call. She sent me to voicemail. You know what she did 10 minutes later? She posted a black and white slideshow on Facebook with Coldplay lyrics. Lights will guide you home. I almost drove over there to choke her out. She didn't invite you to the service, I said. Dana let out a laugh that wasn't a laugh. Service? You mean the discount express burn? No, she did not invite me to the drive-thru. Thank you for asking. I'm alive, by the way, I said. Yeah, she said. Believe it or not, I picked up on that. We sat at her small kitchen table under the kind of ceiling fan that clicks on every third rotation. She made me spaghetti and over-buttered garlic bread, because Dana treats food like triage. She got up twice to grab napkins, and both times came back and just looked at me, like she had to confirm I hadn't dissolved. After the first plate, when my hands had stopped shaking and my brain felt less like oatmeal, she slid her phone across the table. Scroll, she said. Haley's profile filled the screen. You know the type. Boy mom, girl mom, event coordinator, lover of sunsets, doing my best. All her pictures had that too bright, too clean feeling of a staged kitchen. Beige tones, white mugs, stemless wine glasses, ring light off camera. She cultivated this entire suburban martyr aesthetic like an influencer who also does PTA sign-up sheets. Her newest post was up top. Rest in peace, my love. You are my rock, my protector, my safe place. I don't know how to breathe without you. Please keep our family in your prayers. If you'd like to support Mason and Liv during this heartbreaking time, here's the GoFundMe. She had added a crying emoji. She had tagged herself at Serenity Oaks Funeral and Memorial, which is generous because Serenity Oaks is really Carl in a strip mall. Every line of that post read like she was auditioning for Widow of the Year. My obituary, written in the tone of a lifestyle blog. And then, 3 swipes down in her story feed, from 10 hours earlier, time-stamped a handful of hours after I supposedly went peacefully in my sleep, she's in a rooftop bar downtown. Low light, teal blue uplighting. 2 martinis on the table. Her face pressed against a guy's jawline. She had angled the camera to crop him mostly out. Classic sneaky move, but his hand was very much visible on her waist. Not on her shoulder like a friend. Lower. That's Brandon, Dana said. The trainer, I said. The mindset coach, Dana said, with the kind of air quotes that could cut an artery. The human protein shake. That's the one she posts those rise and grind quotes from. That's the one with the challenger and the discount motivational podcast voice. That's the one who comments on her selfies with, "This is your era." Wow, I said. My era ended fast. You noticed the caption, Dinah said. I scrolled back. The rooftop story had text at the bottom that said, "Sometimes the universe clears obstacles so you can finally live free. No more fear, no more control. Just us. Finally. Obstacles." I sat back in the chair. Haley, 38, PTA treasurer, celiac on Tuesdays, dairy-free when she remembered, had called me an obstacle 12 hours after I died. She always did have a way with romance, I said. Dana leaned in. Listen, I know you're in shock. I know this is a lot. But you need to understand. She wasn't just cheating. She's been laying groundwork. The last 2 months she's been dropping these little lines at the bar. To anybody who'd listen. Evan's been so unstable lately. I'm honestly scared to be in the house sometimes. He's checked out emotionally. He's not the man I married. She said you were scaring her. You, my brother who apologizes to furniture if he bumps into it. She's good, I said. She's strategic, Dana said. Strategic. Strategic is worse than good. Good can be impulsive, sloppy. Strategic is a plan. Dana lit a cigarette out the back door. and left the door cracked, because she knows I hate smoke and also knows I don't get to be picky tonight. She watched the rain hit the cracked cement outside like it was thinking about coming in. "Tell me about this trainer," I said. "Brandon," she said, rolling her eyes with enough force to rotate her skull. 30, maybe 32, maybe 28 and lying. Hard body, loud car, motivational quotes he didn't write. Thinks discipline means screaming at women in expensive leggings. He started as her trainer at the gym over on Milton. Then she started calling him her business partner. Which is funny, because Haley's business basically consists of doing table centerpieces for neighborhood fundraisers and pretending to be an event planner on LinkedIn. He thinks he's Tony Robbins with better abs. "Does he have actual money?" I said. "He has the kind of money that lives in his front seat in cash and disappears whenever a real bill shows up," Dana said. "I have heard him talk. He is all, leverage this, flip that, passive income, babe. We're so close. And then he's Venmo requesting people $8 for wings." I rubbed my face. My skin still felt too tight, like it didn't quite fit my skull anymore. Everything felt half a second behind reality, like a lagging video call. Dinah leaned on the table. "You know the worst part?" she asked. "Give me the top 5, I said. "Liv was at a sleepover last night," she said. "Mason was at Jackson's playing Xbox and drinking Monster straight from the can like a baby raccoon. Haley told them you were at the hospital for tests. She didn't tell them you were gone until this morning, and even then, she told Mason over text. Over text, Evan. Honey, I'm so sorry. Dad didn't make it. Please be strong for me. You're the man of the house now. She sent your kid a condolence text like she's his guidance counselor. I felt something cold work into the base of my spine. And then, Dana said, she told both of them not to come to the viewing because it'll be too hard. You know what too hard means, right? It means you'll mess up my script. You know why she didn't tell me directly? Because she knew I'd call an ambulance and ask some questions, and questions are bad for her timeline. I nodded. My heartbeat felt weird. Not dangerous weird. Just that hollow thud you get when adrenaline is burning off and fury is moving in to replace it. "How's Mason?" I asked. "Mad," Dana said, confused, scared. "He thinks you left him. He thinks you left me with this." "Liv?" "Crying and posting black and white photos of your old fishing trip with her, like she's directing a music video," Dana said. But underneath, she's just repeating what Haley fed her. Which is, Dad was unstable, it happened fast, no one could help, but it's better this way because he was suffering. I laughed, and it came out ugly. "Suffering," I said. "I fell in the kitchen. I woke up in a freezer. My suffering was me being inconvenient to her schedule." Dana reached across and put her hand on mine. Her fingers were warm, nails chipped. "Hey," she said quietly. "Look at me." I looked at her. "We are going to burn her down," she said. "I think that's the moment I officially came back to life. Not in the medical sense. In the other way. The way where you get a job to do and you understand that the job isn't about justice or closure or forgiveness. It's about correction. It's about taking someone's pretty little curated, influencer-friendly lie and dragging it across concrete. "I don't mean cops," Dana said. "I'm not saying courts. I'm saying we take away the thing she breathes, the thing she values more than you, more than the kids, more than her own reputation for honesty, which, spoiler, does not exist. We take away her standing, her social air supply. In this neighborhood, that's the same as dropping a tree across her roof in a storm." "That's mean," I said. "Oh, honey," Dana said, "you haven't even seen mean yet." That night, I went home, not because I missed the bed, not because I thought I could talk her into crying honest tears. I went home because I am a network engineer by trade, which means 2 things. 1, I know where everything plugs in. 2, I plan for the day everything fails. Security cameras, I installed them. Wi-Fi password, I set it. Garage keypad code. I'm the one who programmed it to 0238, because those are the last 4 digits of Haley's first car, which she still lies and tells people she paid for herself working nights, when in reality, my father-in-law co-signed because she cried on cue. I parked 2 houses down and walked the rest of the way, hood up, shoulders down, my funeral suit jacket still on. It was raining steady, the kind of rain that softens the edges of sound and makes a cul-de-sac feel like its own planet. The houses on Maple Crest all look like they were designed by a man who likes Pottery Barn catalogues and thinks Tuscan is a color. Perfect lawns, tasteful uplighting, little vinyl flags in the mulch that say things like, "We love our troops, and this house runs on Jesus, coffee, and softball." Our porch camera is a Ring. People think those things are high security. They're toys. Click, dark. Her Tesla sat in the driveway, humming quiet in sleep mode. Next to it, parked at just the wrong angle like a territorial animal, sat a black Dodge Challenger with a vanity plate that said BRNDNX. Of course he has a vanity plate like a guy with his own cologne line. I walked past it and ran my fingertips along the hood. You can tell what a man loves by how often he wipes fingerprints off it. The hood of that car had been wiped recently. "Hi there," I whispered. "We'll talk later." The garage keypad was still 0238. I hit the code, held my sleeve over the little green light so it wouldn't flash down the driveway, and stepped inside, shutting the door behind me. Inside the garage, everything smelled like detergent and oil. Haley's treadmill leaned against the wall under a pile of laundry instead of being used for its stated purpose. My toolbox sat exactly where I left it, top drawer still a mess of Allen keys and zip ties and miscellaneous screws I swear I'm going to sort someday. Good to know I hadn't been erased all the way down to the hardware. The door from the garage into the house was still using the standard lock because I was the guy who always said, and Haley was always like, "Totally, babe, remind me," and then never did. I turned the knob slow, cracked the door, listened. Voices upstairs. Laughter. Her laugh was bright. Not wrecked, not ripped apart, mascara drowned, clutching widow bright. It was champagne bright. I'd heard that laugh at restaurants when she was telling girlfriends about how Evan just doesn't get it. I'd heard that laugh at PTA fundraisers when she did her self-deprecating, "Ha ha ha, I'm such a mess, don't look at my car, I've had zero time, I just threw this together" speech, while smiling in a way that made sure everyone looked exactly at her car and noticed the new highlights in her hair and said, "Oh my God, babe, how do you do it all?" Women like Haley carry that laugh around, like a carpenter carries a drill. It's a tool. Hearing it in my house, 24 hours after I died, turned something in me to glass. I slipped through the kitchen. The counter still had the cheap cutting board where I'd gone down. There was a streak on the tile I'd missed seeing earlier, a small rusty arc at knee height. Someone had wiped most of it. Not all. A Swiffer lay against the fridge like it had fainted from overuse. There were 2 wine glasses in the sink, 1 lipstick stain, 2 plates on the coffee table, 1 with the heel of a steak, 1 with a smear of aioli. He'd eaten here, at my table, off my plates, watching my TV, sitting in my spot, probably the left side of the couch where the cushion is a little softer from my weight. Upstairs, Haley's voice dropped to that low, sweet register she uses when she wants a man to feel like a hero. "I'm just saying," she whispered, laughing. "Tomorrow it's done. It's really done. We get the money. We're clear. We can leave all this, Brandon. Miami, no more looking over my shoulder. No more stress. We'll be free. I can finally breathe. Money. Clear. Miami. Free." Brandon's voice floated down the stairwell. He has that sound guys like him have. You hear it in gyms and used car lots. Confidence with nothing under it but caffeine. "I told you, babe," he whispered back. "I told you I'm a closer. This is me taking care of you like you deserve. This is the universe saying it's our turn. We just got to get past this, and then it's us. No drama. You're my girl. This is it. You trust me, right?" My girl. I pulled out my phone and hit record. I've never been a spy. I'm not Jason Bourne. I'm a guy who installs routers in office parks and talks homeowners through why their Wi-Fi cuts out when it rains. But I'm also the guy who backed up all our family photos for 10 straight years, without Haley ever noticing how it all worked. I'm the guy who set up Haley's laptop and used an admin password I never told her, because if I did, she would just forget it and hand me the machine with, "Can you please fix this? I have an event tomorrow." Being invisible in your own marriage is bad for romance. It's great for revenge. I opened her office door and slipped in. Haley calls it an office. It's a spare bedroom with a white IKEA desk, a ring light, and a corkboard covered in things like brunch tasting, final RSVP list, and Liv's pep rally sign text, "Pierce girls don't quit." On top of the printer was a stack of envelopes, the scary kind. Thick white, no return logo you recognize. Final notice in red. I flipped one open. Horizon Capital Recovery Account. Haley J. Pierce balance. Due, 18,740. 63. This is your final opportunity to resolve this matter privately. Failure to respond will result in escalation to personal contacts and employers. Escalation to personal contacts. So that's what this is. Not just boredom, not just, "I deserve happiness, babe." This is debt. This is leverage. This is whoever Horizon is threatening to start knocking on doors, calling employers, telling the PTA moms that Haley Pierce is not the perfect organized queen she pretends to be, but a woman who owes almost 20 grand she can't cover. And my wife, my legally widowed wife, looked at that problem and thought, "I'll solve it with a cremation order." Because that's what I was now. A line item. In the glow from her MacBook, I saw her email to Carl from 5:52 a.m. "Carl, thank you for making this fast. I cannot drag this out. I need proof of cremation, ASAP for paperwork and closure. Please send confirmation immediately after. Haley proof for paperwork and closure." I copied that email to my external drive. I copied the Horizon letters. I copied the recordings. I copied screenshots from her chat thread with Brandon, including one where he sent her a selfie flexing in the gym mirror with the caption, "Just us soon. Nobody else to tell us no." I also copied her group chat with her mom squad. That one was gold. Last week, timestamped 11:37 p.m., she'd typed, "I hate saying this, but I'm honestly scared. Evan's been so unstable. He yelled tonight. The kids were shaking. I don't know how much longer I can take this." I sat back and stared at the screen. Evan yelled tonight. For reference, I was in the basement at 11:37 last week, reinstalling the stupid sump pump because she'd called me at work at 4:12 p.m. and said, "Babe, the basement smells like a lake and I have like zero time to deal." I remember because I drove home early, crawled into standing water in work pants, and fixed that pump with my hands numb to the knuckles. We didn't even talk that night except for her yelling down the stairs, "Hey, can you please not leave a mess? I have women coming tomorrow." I closed her laptop. Upstairs, they were still talking Miami. Miami is not heal quietly and find yourself. Miami is run before the fallout lands. I slid back down the stairs, through my kitchen, into my garage. I paused at the Challenger, BRNDNX. He named his car after himself like he thinks he's a brand. I smiled. "We're going to talk," I whispered. Then I slipped back into the rain. You ever watch your kid realize in real time that his mother might not be who he thinks she is? It sucks. Mason stood behind the high school at pickup, hood up, backpack dangling off one shoulder, vaping something that smelled like strawberry syrup and battery acid. 17, tall, narrow shoulders, face still soft in places that haven't hardened yet, eyes ringed from too many nights on a screen. He saw me and his body did this little jerk like a puppet whose strings just got yanked by God. "Dad," he said. I held a finger to my lips. "Not loud," I said. "Not here." He came close, eyes wide and glassy. He touched my sleeve like he thought I might vanish. Then his face rearranged itself into anger. Mom said, I know what Mom said, I said. She said you were gone, he said, voice cracking. She said you died in your sleep. And she was like sobbing, and then she said we shouldn't go there because it would just traumatize us and you wouldn't want that. And she said you were yelling all the time lately and scaring her, and that you were saying crazy stuff. And she said you made her promise not to keep you on machines because you didn't want to bankrupt us. And I was like, what machines? We don't even have money. Like what? Mason, I said. He shut up. I pulled out my phone. I hit play on the audio I'd recorded in the hallway at 1:37 a.m. We stood there in the grey school parking lot, with minivans rolling past and freshmen screaming and a whistle blowing from the soccer field, and listened to his mother laughing in bed with a man who wasn't me, saying, tomorrow it's done. It's really done. We get the money. We're clear. We can leave all this, Brandon. Miami. No more looking over my shoulder. No more stress. We'll be free. I can finally breathe. We listened to Brandon say, we just got to get past this and then it's us. No drama. You're my girl. You trust me, right? We listened to his mother talking about Miami hours after telling her, Mom Squad, she was shattered with grief. Mason's face lost color, like someone pulling curtains shut. She was in bed with him, he whispered. Yeah, I said. Last night, he said. Yeah, I said. After you died, he said. Yeah, I said. He looked like he wanted to throw up. He also looked like he wanted to hit something. Those two feelings can live in the same teenager at the same time. You can watch them fight through his jaw. She said you were unstable, he said, voice small now. Do I sound unstable? I said. He shook his head. Listen to me, I said. You are not going back there tonight. I live there, he said automatically. Not tonight, I said. Tonight you're going to Aunt Dana's. You're going to keep your mouth shut. You're going to tell your sister you're staying at Dana's because you miss me and you want to be around family. You're not going to mention me being alive. And you're not going to answer any question your mother asks you unless it starts with, are you safe? Why? He said. Because I need 24 hours without her knowing I have a pulse, I said. He swallowed. Is this like witness protection or like movie stuff? It's like your mother tried to have me turned into smoke before breakfast, I said. It's like that. He stared at me for a long second. Then he nodded. Then he cried, but quietly, the way boys cry when their bodies are too busy converting shock to anger to give them permission to sob. I put a hand on the back of his neck and squeezed. That is a language fathers speak to sons when no words will work. You good? I said. No, he said honestly. Okay, I said, we're going to fix it anyway. He let out a bitter laugh. Are you going to, call the cops on her? No, I said. Why not? He said. Because jail is easy, I said. Jail is fast. She'd spin it. She'd cry to every mom in that Facebook group and turn orange into martyr. She doesn't get to be a tragic figure. She doesn't get sympathy. She doesn't get that narrative. I'm going to take what actually matters to her. Which is, Mason said. Her image, I said. Her standing. How people look at her at Target. How Annette at HOA says her name like it's royalty. I'm going to make sure she can't walk into a meeting without everyone remembering she called me an obstacle 12 hours after I supposedly died. I'm going to break her brand. He blinked. You sound like Aunt Dana. Take that as a compliment, I said. He wiped his nose with his sleeve. What about Brandon? I smiled. Brandon, I said, is going to learn shame. The next part was fun. If you've never humiliated a man who thinks volume equals dominance, I recommend it. It's therapeutic. Brandon's gym sits above a parking garage that smells like rubber mats and old rain. It's the kind of gym where bored married women pay $120 an hour for accountability coaching, and men like Brandon stand behind them spotting their squats and saying things like, "You got this, queen." There's a green plant wall for selfies and a neon sign that says "Grind or Die" in cursive. which I'm sure the landlord loves. I waited by his car. Like I said, Challenger, black. Aftermarket exhaust so loud you can hear it 3 blocks away. The vanity plate, BRNDNX, like it's a perfume line, like he's a franchise. Fun fact, you can embarrass a man like Brandon without touching his face. You just have to touch his pride. His pride lives in his car. A couple simple tricks are harmless but loud. Sugar in the gas tank? No. That's for people who want felonies. I'm not here for felonies. I'm here for theatre. A couple sugar packets shoved deep into an aftermarket exhaust tip, though. A thin metal wedge behind a rear wheel, angled just right. That makes a nice popping shriek when he backs up and makes him think his axle snapped. Loosen the rear license plate screws so it rattles like loose teeth. Beautiful. Cost you nothing but 5 minutes and petty joy. He came swaggering out of the elevator with a shaker bottle in one hand and his phone on speaker in the other. His beanie was pulled low. His joggers were too tight. His hoodie said, "No apologies" in big block lettering across the chest, which is something only men who should apologize wear. "I told you, babe, probate is just processes," he was saying. "Your house goes to you, your man's policy hits, we get you liquid, we bounce. We don't owe anyone an explanation. People act like they get a vote. Nobody gets a vote. That's old thinking." He looked up and saw me. Stopped. Blink. The colour dropped out of his face so fast it was like he tipped forward out of his body and had to claw his way back in. He actually rocked back on his heels like I'd hit him with a board. "What the?" he said. "Hi," I said. "I thought you were—" "Yeah," I said. "I did too. Surprise." He glanced around the garage like maybe he was being pranked. There were 2 kids by the stairwell, both with gym bags, both pretending not to look and absolutely looking. Good. Witnesses are useful. Brandon tried to puff up. Guys like Brandon always go to their chest when they get scared. He squared his shoulders and did that chin lift thing, but his eyes were too wide and his voice cracked. "You can't be here, man," he said, trying to make his voice deep. "This is harassment. This is harassment, okay? You can't be here. I'm calling security." "Call whoever you want," I said. "Call Carl from Serenity Oaks. Ask him if the oven's open." His jaw twitched. Time to get to the point. "Listen carefully," I said, stepping into his space. "I'm not a big guy. I'm not a fighter, but fear does funny things for posture." He flinched first, and once a man like Brandon flinches publicly, the rest is just clean-up. "You are going to disappear from Haley's life," I said. "Completely. You are going to delete her number and block her everywhere. You are never going to stand on my porch again. You are never going to take a picture in my kitchen again. You are never going to be within 3 blocks of my kids again. You are never going to drive down Maple Crest like you own it. Do you understand me so far, Brand Ambassador?" His mouth tightened. "You can't tell me." "Yeah, I can," I said, "because here's what's going to happen if you don't. I'm going to send every mom in your client list a copy of you in bed with a married woman, laughing about Miami 12 hours after her husband died. I'm going to send your little, sometimes obstacles got to get cleared, rooftop story, with your hand on her hip to the HOA moms. You know the HOA moms, right? They wear Lululemon to the mailbox and call each other babe, and they'll smile in your face, and then blacklist you so hard you have to move counties. That's your whole income, right? Lonely wives with Pilates memberships. What happens when they all know you as Brandon, the guy who tried to fast-track a husband into an urn? You think any of them are going to keep paying you $120 an hour to call them queen after that, Brandon?" One of the gym kids by the stairwell snorted. Brandon's eyes shot to them, then back to me. His face flushed a blotchy red. "You don't have proof," he said. I held up my phone, thumb hovering over the share arrow. He swallowed. "And if for some reason that isn't enough," I said softly, leaning in, "I will personally show up here every morning at 6 a.m. and stand in front of this desk and say, real loud, exactly what you and Haley planned. I'll use words like fraud and insurance, and cremation order and Miami escape. And I'll say them slow, and I'll smile at everyone walking in. I will make you viral in the most boring, suburban, HOA minutes reading way possible. That is my promise to you, and I keep promises. Ask Carl. His breathing got shallow, choppy. You're crazy, he whispered. No, I said. Crazy would be me throwing you off this garage. I'm not doing that. I'm civilized. I'm just going to end your ability to sell yourself as a lifestyle upgrade to emotionally tired women. You get to keep your teeth. You just don't get to keep your market share. He tried to shove me. I let him get a palm on my chest. Then I moved into him, fast, grabbed the back of his hoodie, and planted him face first against his own hood. It made a dull metal thud. The sound echoed through the garage. He made this little hey noise that turned into a grunt. Careful, I said politely, my forearm across his shoulders, my weight on him. I wouldn't want you to bruise. Someone might take a picture and ask questions. Get off me, he hissed. Get off. You know what my kid said when he heard you in my bed, I whispered. He said, how long has she been lying to us? I just thought you should know the level of damage you're involved in. I thought you should understand the stakes. Because you seem like a man who doesn't understand stakes, unless they're literally on a plate next to mashed potatoes. He jerked, tried to twist out. That was when his Challenger alarm started wailing. He froze. The kids by the stairwell started laughing. Yo, Brandon, one of them yelled. Your car's crying, dude. Brandon's taillights flickered. A puff of white smoke hissed out the back exhaust, then sputtered like an asthmatic dragon. The loosened license plate rattled, clacking against the bumper. The wedge I'd slid behind his left rear tire popped loose and made a beautiful high-pitched metal squeal that sounded expensive to idiots. The gym kids were recording now. Of course they were. This is what they live for. Drama with filters. I let Brandon go. He spun around, face flushed, eyes wild. What did you do to my car? He yelled. What did you do to my family? I said, louder. The question hit the concrete like a dropped wrench. The gym kids stopped laughing just for a second. You could feel the air shift. Brandon looked like he couldn't figure out where to aim. This is harassment, he spat, too loud, trying to control something he couldn't. I'm calling the cops. You assaulted me, man. You assaulted me. In self-defense, I said calmly. You grabbed me first. I defended myself. Also, fun legal fact, yelling at your girlfriend's husband in a parking garage about the cremation paperwork you both rushed might not be the kind of police report you want to create. Just a thought. He blinked, fast, like his mind was buffering. We're done, I said. You can't tell Haley what to... I slapped him. Not a punch, a slap. Open palm, sharp, fast, right across his cheek. The sound cracked like a starter pistol. His head jerked. He just stared at me after that, stunned, like his software didn't have code for this. That, I said quietly, is for Mason. Next time you say his name, you make sure you have an actual right to. Spoiler, you don't. Then I stepped back. Brandon stood there rubbing his cheek, humiliated, as his precious Challenger wheezed and belched in front of two kids filming on their phones. I turned and walked away. I heard him yelling something behind me. Didn't care. Over him, over the alarm, over the stupid Challenger coughing like an asthmatic bulldog, I could hear the little click-click of video going live in group chats. Brandon wasn't going to lose his freedom today. I wasn't sending him to a hospital or a jail. Nothing so dramatic. I was going to salt his reputation. Guys like Brandon don't survive getting laughed at in public by teenagers. Shame is their kryptonite. One down. The next morning, I went to work. Not my old job. I couldn't exactly badge into the office and be like, "Morning, Steve, funny story. We'll deal with that after." I'm talking about my new job. My new job was public relations surgeon. I woke up on Dana's couch at 4:30 a.m. with my back screaming because her couch is from Craigslist and could double as a medieval punishment plank. I made coffee that tasted like it had been filtered through roofing shingles. I opened my laptop. I plugged in the drive I'd cloned from Haley's. I had everything I needed. See, Haley's strength is also her weakness. She can't help narrating. She narrates her grief to the neighborhood moms. She narrates her virtue to Instagram. She narrates her victimhood to anyone who'll buy her a glass of Pinot and say, "Oh my God, babe, no, seriously, you're so strong." She cannot shut up about her suffering, real or imagined. All I had to do was turn her narration outward. I started with Annette. Annette runs the HOA like God runs Judgment Day. She's in her 50s, bottle blonde, walks her little rat dog at 6 a.m. in yoga pants and a puffer vest, smiles at you like she's on a magazine cover while telling you your trash can lid was at a non-compliant angle. She loves two things, control and gossip. She thinks she's discreet. She is not discreet. She is a sprinkler system for other people's secrets. I used a new email, created at 4:37 a.m., to Annette, from anonymous neighbor help agmail. Subject: You should probably hear this before you put Haley on anything attached. A 36-second audio clip from my hallway. Time-stamped, less than 12 hours after Haley claimed on Facebook that she couldn't breathe without me. Haley's voice clear as a bell. Tomorrow it's done. It's really done. We get the money. We're clear. We can leave all this, Brandon. Miami. No more looking over my shoulder. No more stress. We'll be free. I can finally breathe. Message body. Before you all start calling her inspiration, maybe listen. This is from last night. I thought you'd want to know the truth so the neighborhood doesn't get embarrassed. Send. Then I sent a similar email to Haley's part-time boss at the event planning company she loved bragging about. Subject line, quick brand alignment concern, RE, Haley Pierce. I attached Haley's message calling me unstable and scary, along with a screenshot of her "Sometimes the universe clears obstacles" rooftop story with Brandon's hand on her waist. Message body, sharing this quietly because this might blow back on the company when she starts putting widow and resilience language in pictures. If she's representing herself as your face right now, you might want to pause that before clients see this on social. Send. Then Kelsey. Kelsey is Haley's best mum friend, but also her biggest rival. Kelsey loves pretending she and Haley are sisters, but secretly, Kelsey wants to be the one everyone says, "How does she do it all?" about. Kelsey will eat her own leg for a chance to be the one who knew first. Kelsey is useful. 2. Kelsey, from same burner. Subject: Thought you should see what Haley said about you. I attached a screenshot of Haley telling Brandon, "Kelsey is so jealous of me, it's painful. She keeps copying my hair." Was that the most damning thing in the world? No. Was it the kind of petty thing that would light Kelsey up like a Christmas tree and make her talk? Absolutely. Message body. I thought you deserved to know what she was saying behind your back last week. I'm tired of watching her play innocent to your face. Maybe stop covering for her. Send. Then I sat back and waited. The thing about suburban gossip networks is they work fast. You think Twitter is fast. HOA Facebook at 7 a.m. is warp speed. By 7:40, Kelsey had texted Haley 8 times and been ignored 6 of them. By 8:05, Annette had called an emergency check-in for community image management, which is HOA code for "We're all going to talk about Haley." By 8:22, Haley's boss had sent her an email that said, and I'm quoting, "Given some things that have come to light regarding public narrative around your family situation, we're going to pause any client-facing activity for you this week. Please take this time to grieve privately. We'll revisit your fit with brand voice at a later date." Translation: You're suspended, sweetheart. We'll circle back, never. I watched Haley's world begin to close. At 8:37, my phone lit up. Haley, where are you? Haley, what are you doing? Haley, you are sick. Haley, if you do not stop this, I will call the police and tell them you are threatening me and the kids. Haley, I will tell everyone you are abusive. Do you want that? I let her sit with that for a few minutes. Then I called her. She answered on the first ring, breathing fast, voice ragged, the way she sounds when she wants you to think she's been crying for an hour. You are insane, she said. Hi, honey, I said. You are actually insane, she said. Do you hear yourself? You're stalking me. You're harassing me. You're making up fake emails. You're editing audio. You're trying to ruin me when I am at my lowest, Evan. I am literally at rock bottom right now, and You told the funeral director to make sure I was cremated by 10 a.m., so you could have proof for paperwork, I said. Silence stabbed through the phone. I heard her swallow. That was for closure, she said finally, weak. You said I need proof, I said. Proof for who, Haley? You don't understand, she said. You never understood. You were never there for the actual hard stuff, Evan. You have no idea what kind of pressure you left me in. You think you know, but you don't. You checked out years ago. You just existed in that house like a ghost. You didn't even see me. And then you expect what? That I just, keep drowning forever while you, half live on the couch? I couldn't breathe. I haven't been able to breathe for years. You breathed just fine last night talking about Miami, I said. I hate you, she hissed. Get in line, I said. We're selling jackets. She sobbed once, sharp and theatrical. Haley cries like a person on camera. Shoulders, breath, timing, everything. It's almost admirable. The first time I saw her cry like that 15 years ago, I thought I was watching a soul fracture. The 10th time, I realized I was watching a pitch. You are destroying my life, she whispered. That's the idea, I said. Why, she said, and there it was, naked. Real fear. Not because she loved me. Haley doesn't love anybody, not really. She loves how people fit into the story she's selling. She was scared because I was threatening her story. Because you tried to erase me like an email draft you didn't like, I said. Because you told my son I was unstable so he'd be mad. And you told the neighborhood moms I scared you so they'd cover for you. And you told Carl I wanted to be turned into ash before breakfast so you could get a payout and a plane ticket. Because you sat in my bed with a guy who says rise and grind, unironically, and called me an obstacle. Because you laughed. Her breath hitched. You can't prove, she started. I have you on tape, I said. Silence. Put me on speaker, I said. What? She said. Put me on speaker and call Brandon, I said. Now. No, she said. Absolutely not. I am not involving him in this. This is between us. You are obviously in some kind of mental break, Evan, and I'm honestly scared, and I don't feel safe. You felt safe enough to sleep with him in my bed while I was supposedly on a slab, I said. Put me on speaker, or I tell Mason exactly why you tried to rush my cremation. Her breath stuttered. Don't you dare drag my son into this, she hissed. Our son, I said. Our son that you texted like he was HR. Speaker, now. The line clicked. I heard the faint shift of sound that means she put me on speaker, then the dialing tone, then Brandon picking up on the second ring. Hey babe, he said, trying for casual and landing on strained. You good? You okay? You see that post Annette made? That woman's insane. We need to talk about legal action. I swear to God, I'm 2 seconds from going off on that HOA chat. They don't even know the full story yet, and already they're... It's over, Haley said. Silence. What? Brandon said. It's over, she said, voice shaking. We are done. Do you hear me? Do not call me again. Do not text me again. Do not come to my house. Do not come to my work. Do not talk to my kids. Do not post about me. Do not mention me. Do not breathe my name. We are finished. Whatever you think is about to happen with Miami, it's not happening. Do you understand me? Do not speak to me again. Ever. Haley, Brandon said, doing that laugh guys do when they're scared and want to sound amused. Babe, stop. Stop. You're spiraling. Okay, this is temporary. We knew there'd be drama. We said this, remember? We said people can't handle a woman choosing happiness. This is just noise. This is just people being jealous. You're panicking, and that's not you. You're my girl, remember? You're my girl. We did this for us. Don't be like this. Do not call me again, she said and hung up. The line clicked back to just us. Haley let out a sob, raw this time, not pretty, an animal sound. What are you going to do to me, she whispered. Oh, I said, everything you're scared of. The last part happened fast. That's how nights like that go. You spend 4 days building, stacking, moving pieces into place, like a careful little engineer of ruin. And then, the actual last 30 minutes feel like they happen in a single held breath. It was raining hard again. Maple Crest at night in the rain feels like a set for a mid-budget streaming thriller. The streetlights glow in halos. Every driveway shines. Every lawn looks too green. Every window flickers blue from whatever Netflix show is teaching people how to be afraid of basements this week. Haley's Tesla was in the driveway. The Challenger wasn't. Good. I wasn't in the mood for Brandon and his exhaust. Let it see, let it record, let it log me coming up my own stoop in my own suit. I'm past hiding. She can't call the cops and say he trespassed without explaining how I'm alive and why she told everyone I'm not. I knocked. She opened. Her eyes were swollen. Her hair was down now, frizzy from humidity. Her mascara was mostly gone. She looked human for the first time in, I can't remember how long. Not curated, not filtered. Just a 38-year-old woman who had been knocked out of orbit and didn't know where gravity lived anymore. When she saw me, she made a little flinch, then stepped back to let me in. The house felt wrong. Quiet in that way houses get when all the noise has been sucked out. No TV hum, no dishwasher, no washing machine, no music. Just the hum of the fridge and the rain pattering against the back patio door. Her suitcase sat by the door again, half zipped. Going somewhere? I said. I don't know, she said. We stood in the entry like two people waiting for an elevator. You made your point, she said quietly. Did I said. Yes, she said. Her voice shook. Okay? Yes, you did. Everyone hates me. Everyone thinks I'm a monster. All those women, they won't even look at me. My boss suspended me. Kelsey is blasting me in a group chat I started. Annette won't return my calls. Brandon's gone. Mason won't answer me. Liv won't come out of Dana's guest room and talk to me. I haven't eaten since yesterday morning. My hands won't stop shaking. My phone won't stop buzzing with people asking, is this true, like I'm on trial? You did it. You took everything. Are you proud of yourself? Yes, I said. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. You know what Reed told me today? I said. Her face went slack at that name. Good. She recognized it. He said Brandon sold you this idea that you were going to be free. He said Brandon told you the kids would get over it once they saw the cash. He said Brandon told you nobody liked me anyway, so no one would ask questions. Her eyes filled. I was scared, she whispered. I didn't know what else to do. I haven't slept in months, Evan. You don't understand. I thought I was going to drown. I thought I was going to lose the house. I thought they were going to tell everyone I'm a loser. I thought everyone would know I'm fake. I'm not strong like people think. I'm not perfect. I can't keep that up. I thought maybe I could just start over. I thought maybe I could just be someone else. I thought maybe if I could just get out, I could breathe. I just wanted to breathe. I just wanted to not be the woman everyone thinks has it all together when I'm rotting inside. I just wanted to breathe for 5 minutes. And here's the thing. Part of what she said was true. Part of what she said was so honest, it almost cracked me. But honesty doesn't erase math. You don't get to breathe if I don't get to live, I said softly. Her face fell. You don't get to start over with a cute tan and a new boyfriend and a sympathy GoFundMe and a reputation for resilience when I'm supposed to be Ash and my son thinks I abandoned him and my sister thinks I'm in a cooler somewhere and my daughter is posting black and white fishing pictures like I'm a memory, I said. You don't get to airbrush me out of the family so you can be the tragic phoenix. That's not how this works. You don't get to clear me like clutter." Her hands went up to her face. She sobbed. For 1 second, one single second in all of this, I felt almost human toward her again. And then the front door banged open behind me. Of course. Brandon. He came in like a storm in a hoodie, wet from the rain, eyes wide, adrenaline high, hands shaking, voice already revved up to maximum volume. "Haley," he yelled. "Haley, grab your bag. We're leaving. I swear to God, grab your bag. We are not doing this. This is over. We are bouncing. We are out. Let's go. Now, now, now." He saw me, stopped. "Are you serious?" he said, voice rising up into a squeak. "You're still here? You're still here? After everything? This is harassment. Haley, call the cops. Haley, I'm serious. He's unstable. He's dangerous. This is abuse. You have to call the cops." He assaulted me. Okay, in the garage. He straight up assaulted me. He's crazy. Haley, he's crazy. He's going to snap. You can't trust him. You can't stay here with him. You have to come with me now. You have to listen to me now. I am the only one looking out for you, Haley. I'm the only one who's got you, babe. Let's go. "Babe," I said softly. He spun on me. "Don't talk to her," he snapped, pointing at my face. "You do not talk to—" I grabbed the front of his hoodie with one hand, spun, and slammed him back into the wall by the coat hooks, so hard the little "Bless this home" sign rattled. He made a choked squawk. "Here's how this is going to go," I said, low, calm, nose almost touching his. "You are going to leave my house. You are going to get in what's left of your loud little car. You're going to drive 3 blocks without peeling out like a 14-year-old in his mom's minivan. You're going to go home. You're going to sit on your couch and think very, very hard about what happens to a man like you when his name becomes a joke in a town like this. You are never going to text Haley again. You are never going to call Haley again. You are never going to say her name out loud again, not even in the mirror, not even when you're flexing in the gym bathroom. If I see you in this neighborhood again, I will personally attend every one of your 6 a.m. sessions at the gym and play the Miami recording at full volume to every married woman you train. I will make sure your DMs are a graveyard. I will make sure you can't sell a single rise and grind to a single bored wife between here and the next county. Do you understand me?" He swallowed. "You can't threaten—" "That's not a threat," I said. "That's market analysis." His eyes darted to Haley, like he was waiting for her to jump in and save him. She didn't look at him. She was pressed against the far wall, shaking. He looked back at me. I could see it hit. The realization, the first real one. Not, "This is drama and I'll fix it with speeches," but, "Oh, I'm in danger in a way I don't have muscles for." "I'm calling the cops," he whispered. "Please do," I said. "Tell them the story. Tell them how you and your girlfriend filed paperwork to cremate me before sunrise so you could take her to Miami with my proof. See how that plays on a recorded line. Say proof again, real slow. They'll love that." He shut his mouth. "Now get out of my house," I said. I yanked him forward and then shoved him toward the door. He stumbled, slid on rainwater, pinwheeled his arms, almost went down. He caught himself on the edge of the hall table, knocked over a decorative bowl of keys, sent them skittering across the hardwood, and nearly fell again. It would have been funny if I wasn't vibrating with the kind of fury that makes your teeth ache. He spun at the threshold, face twisted. "You're done," he spat. "You hear me? You're done. Everybody knows you're unstable now. Everybody knows you hit me. Everyone saw. You think you can just walk away from this? You're insane. You're actually insane. You're done, man. You're finished. You're never going to work again. You're never getting your life back. You're nothing. You're—" "Brandon," I said. He shut up. "Take the hint," I said. Something in my voice must have reached him, because for the first time since I met him, he looked afraid of me. Not performative afraid, real afraid. He bolted out into the rain. His shoes squeaked on the wet concrete. His hoodie darkened instantly under the downpour. He sprinted to what's left of his Challenger, which, by the way, was still making that coughing noise when he fired it up. Good. Let the neighbors hear. Haley slid down the wall to the floor. Her shoulders shook. I leaned against the opposite wall, arms crossed over my chest, breathing hard. Outside, in the distance, I could hear sirens, soft at first, getting closer. Somewhere on Maple Crest, an HOA-loving neighbor with a Ring camera and a glass of Chardonnay had already dialed 911 and said, "There's yelling next door. I think it's domestic. I don't want to get involved, but also I'm deeply involved. Please send someone immediately. We have children in this neighborhood." Haley looked up at me, eyes swollen, mascara smeared in grey shadows under them. "You ruined my life," she whispered. I looked at her for a long moment. In that moment, I saw everything all at once. The first night we kissed in the back of my Corolla when we were 20. The way she cried when Mason was born and said, "He's perfect, Ev. Look at him. He's perfect." The way she put her hand on the back of my neck when I had the flu and rubbed slow circles to calm me down. The way she used to look at me across a room and roll her eyes when someone was being fake. The way she slowly, over years, started thinking she was the main character in a story, and the rest of us were props. The way I let it happen, because it was easier than fighting every night. The way boredom became distance, and distance became resentment, and resentment became this, and I felt zero guilt. "No," I said quietly. I turned the lights on. Her face crumpled. The sirens were closer now. You could hear the Doppler shift. Neighbors were peeking through blinds, shapes in windows, phone screens glowing, the whole street holding its breath like this was prime time. "What's going to happen when they get here?" she whispered. "What are you going to tell them?" "I'm going to tell them there was a loud argument and someone drove off like an idiot," I said. "That's it. I'm not going to tell them you tried to have me roasted like a Costco chicken. I'm not going to tell them you built a GoFundMe before my body temp dropped below room. I'm not going to tell them about Miami, or Horizon, or Reed, or the cremation order you signed faster than you signed our marriage license. I'm not going to tell them you called me an obstacle. I'm not going to tell them you lied to my son and called me unstable to his face so he'd hate me in advance in case you needed him to. I'm not giving them that. That's mine. You don't get to turn that into your "I escaped abuse" speech. This story is not yours anymore. It's mine." She stared up at me, shaking. "What are you going to do now?" she whispered. I smiled. "Whatever I want," I said. The first squad car rolled slow down Maple Crest, headlights washing through the rain, red and blue pulsing across wet pavement. You could hear radios cracking, low voices. A neighbor across the street leaned out on her porch in a robe pretending to check the weather. Every window on the block had a shape in it. Haley looked at me like I was a stranger. Which, at this point, yeah. Fair. "Please," she whispered. "Please don't leave me like this." I crouched down so we were eye level. "I already did," I said softly. Her face twisted like I'd stuck a knife under her ribs and just leaned. She sucked in air, a broken little gasp. I stood. I straightened my funeral suit jacket, felt the weight of Carl's manila envelope still tucked inside like a heart, felt the weight of 4 days of rage cooling into something cleaner, sharper, colder. "You remember this night," I said. Her eyes shone. "Every single day for the rest of your life," I said. "You remember you tried to burn me." I opened the door. The rain hit my face like applause. I stepped out onto the porch, into the flashing red and blue, into the low murmur of voices, and the click of cameras, and the curious eyes of a neighborhood that now knew Haley Pierce was not, in fact, a tragic heroine, but something else entirely. I walked down the steps, past the squad car, past the little puddles reflecting spinning light, past the line of neighbors pretending they weren't staring, and into the storm, alive and done.